Yo, what's up, guys? Glad to have you back here. Today I'm going to be taking a look at this device here. This is the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro. I purchased this on Amazon, and I'm going to be giving a little review of it here, tell you what I like and what I don't like, and if I'm going to be keeping it or not. There's a big question people might be asking me, and that is, why didn't I just get the Retroid Pocket 5 in 2025 instead? It's obviously a better device, and that's a valid question. And I'm going to be going over why I purchased this, why I wanted to try it out, and why I may or may not be keeping this device. So I will see you over at the desk. So let me go ahead and answer the first question people might be asking, and that is, why did I buy this over the Retroid Pocket 5? There's a few reasons why. I don't believe the Retroid Pocket 5 is on Amazon yet, so the convenience of being able to order this on Amazon was nice for me, although I did pay a bit extra, which we'll go over. The form factor is great. I really like the sleekness of this here. The overall size is great. You can see the comparison here with the Odin 2. I just love this size. However, there is one downside, is that there's no grips on this. So you're going to need to get some sort of grip case or something on Etsy or whatever. There's sellers that have 3D printed solutions for this device specifically. So right out of the gate, it feels okay to hold when you're playing with these buttons, but when you're using the sticks here, you're going to probably feel some hand cramping, or it's just not going to be as comfortable as you'd like. But yeah, overall, it does feel pretty good to hold. It fits in your pocket. So the overall size is something that's attracted me to this. This is a bit closer to the PS Vita, whereas the Retroid Pocket 5 is closer to the Switch Lite. So smaller device, the better for me. Now, the battery life in this device is fairly decent. I'd say it got me through the day of gaming, some lightweight stuff. If you're playing some more heavyweight things, some heavyweight games, you're probably going to get maybe 3-4 hours, maybe 5 hours, depending on the type of game. But for the lightweight stuff, you can get over 12 hours, depending on what you're playing, and the brightness settings and stuff like that. You got to tweak some settings if you want the max battery life on this, like turning off Wi-Fi, stuff like that. You could definitely get a few days out of this. So the battery life is pretty good. I wouldn't say it's as good as this, the Odin 2 here, or the G Cloud, which I have over there. The G Cloud, I don't even remember to charge it. I'll go multiple days without charging it. This I've been charging about once a day, I would say. Put it on the charger. This I would say I charge every other day, but the G Cloud I probably charge every 3 days or so. It's crazy. But overall, battery really hasn't been a huge concern for me with this device, which is great. Now, the performance is a different story, and that's to be expected. This has, I believe it's the Dimensity 1100, and I'll go ahead and put the specs up on the screen as well so you can see exactly what this has. But the performance definitely leaves a bit to be desired. I'll just give you an example here. Go ahead and launch Jak and Daxter, and this is the game that I usually test out to benchmark my performance levels that I expect from devices. So we'll go ahead and boot this up here, and I'm going to skip ahead to the village area so you can kind of get a real idea of what I'm talking about. Okay, guys, so here we are, and I have the FPS counter there. You can barely read it, but you can see that it's red, which means that it's not running full speed, and you can see it. Turn it up some more as well so you can hear. This is on the stock settings, so I haven't done anything to improve the performance. This is also, I guess it's not stock because I have it on 1.5 resolution. So you can see here, I mean, it's not running full speed. If I go in, change the graphics settings, we'll just do 1. It's still running at about 47, 48 FPS. This, for some reason, is one of the most demanding areas in the game, along with the end area. That one's pretty demanding too. But this area right here is where I like to test. And of course on the Odin 2, it barrels right through it. You can do 3x and it'll work just fine. But even on 1x here, stock settings, we're not getting full speed. And I should also mention that I'm on high performance mode on this. So the performance definitely leaves a lot to be desired. And I mean, that's to be expected. This is the last generation device from Retroid, so it's not going to be their top of the line. And with the Retroid Pocket 5, you're going to get better performance than this. You could probably run this at 2x and it would work just fine. So we can go in here. If we go to, let's see, we can change if we do 1.5, we go to hardware download mode, disable readbacks, and then put the mild underclock on. It's more manageable. You could play it like this if you really wanted to. It's basically frame skipping. But yeah, I mean, it definitely leaves a lot to be desired. Let me show you what this looks like on the Odin 2 real quick. Okay, guys. Here we are on the Odin 2. Same scene. We're at 3x resolution. Everything else is stock. You know, let me turn on the FPS for you. It's on this one, I think. See, there it is. Yeah, we're getting 60 on this. I do have this on high performance mode as well. I like to keep it there because I just want the system to be able to use as much power as it needs to push what I'm wanting. So I don't really mess with that. My overall goal with these devices is to have a set and forget experience. And you know, I knew with the Retroid Pocket 4 it would not be that, but I was hoping it would be a little bit better so I could run some games at 1x and it wouldn't be a problem. The Odin 2 is definitely going to provide that experience though. As you can see, it really hasn't dropped at all from what I've seen on the frame counter. It's been sitting at basically 60 FPS the whole time. So this is the experience that I would prefer. Now again, if you have the Retroid Pocket 5, you're probably going to get better performance. Well, not probably, you definitely will get better performance than the Retroid Pocket 4. You could probably run this at 2x and it would be just fine. But yeah, anyway, the performance is definitely a bit to be desired on this device here. All right, guys. So now let's talk about the software. I'm going to bring out the Odin 2 again because the overall software experience is very similar. You'll notice that even the notification bar and the quick settings, they are very similar in their look. And then if you go into the settings here, go to handheld settings there, and we'll go to settings here, go down to Odin settings. The overall layout is different on this, but all the options are basically the same. So from what I understand, the Retroid and AYN are sister companies, so they have very similar stuff. That's even more evident with the Retroid Pocket 5 and the Odin 2 Portal design. They're very similar, so they are sister companies from what I understand. The software experience is pretty good on this. I don't have any complaints, and I like to use this console launcher. I'm going to make another video on this and basically do a whole setup guide on how to do this, because this right here, this is my favorite retro handheld launcher. It's so cool. I love that it uses the Steam grid icons, and you can even go in, say I want to edit this, you can change these ones here, kind of like on the Steam Deck if you have the Steam grid plugin enabled, but you can see like I can change these if I want to. So it's pretty cool. I really love this launcher. And it's pretty customizable too. You can make it look how you want, and I'll go over that in my dedicated video for this. But overall, the software is pretty good. No complaints. Now, let's talk about the overall price here. I paid $200 for this. Now, I believe that was the launch price for this when it first came out, but obviously it's gone down with the introduction of the Retroid Pocket 5 and the Retroid Pocket Mini. So, not exactly a great price to pay for this right now, but the convenience of Amazon made it a little bit more worth it. Overall, I still wouldn't recommend buying this for $200 off Amazon. I would recommend finding one used. I was looking on Mercari and eBay, and they definitely have listings for around 130, 140, 150 for this device. I would recommend going that way if you really want this, because the size, like I said, it's a great size, and it's a little bit smaller than the Retroid Pocket 5. So if you want a small handheld, this is going to work great, and it's going to play the games you want. You might just have to do some configuration for the higher end games like Jack and Daxter. But you can make this run all the games you want, basically, for the most part. There's going to be some limitations you're going to hit, obviously, but you will like this if you pay the right price. If you're paying $200 for it, unless you're really a Retroid Pocket 4 fan, I would recommend looking for something cheaper, or using that money, spend a little bit more and get the Retroid Pocket Mini or the Retroid Pocket 5, because it's just not worth it for me. The Like I said, I'm shooting for the set it and forget it experiences, and this is just not it. So for that money, I'd rather get the Retroid Pocket 5 and have more of that set and forget experience. I know it's not going to be perfect on the Retroid Pocket 5 either. It only has a Snapdragon 865, I believe, but it's going to be a lot more powerful than this, and it's going to have a lot more set and forget games. So I would recommend not buying this off Amazon and using that money for one of those other devices. Or you could even look for the Odin 2 on eBay. Like I said before in my Odin 2 video, I got this for $260 after taxes, which is a great deal. I would much rather shell out an extra $60 for this and get 4 or 5 times the performance of this guy. So that's what I would recommend doing here. But overall, it's definitely not a bad device. Again, if you can get it for a good price, this is good. The size is very compelling, and we're probably just going to see more and more devices that are bigger than this, unless they release something like the Retroid Pocket Mini that's specifically made to be small. Then you can look for something like that. But this is overall still a great device. You just got to find it for the right price. But that's really all I had to say about this. If you have any other questions, let me know. I'm not really sure if I'm going to be keeping this much longer. Um, so if you have any other questions you want to know about this, just leave them in the comments, and I will be sure to answer those. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate the views on my videos I've gotten so far here. If you have any suggestions or anything, complaints even, please feel free to drop those in the comments, and I will be sure to take those into consideration. I love each and every one of you guys, and always remember to be grateful and express your gratitude. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.